I always give all his credit, no, but we need to run it back. That's why my tough. When after the fight, I say we need to run it back this fight because I don't feel the way I really want, and I need to make this fight happen again, no, and it's gonna be different. I think for him to deserve all the credit, he need to give me the rematch, obviously. But he decided to retire, and we need to accept that and move forward.
You know what? Sometimes you try and your body cannot go, right? That's my frustration. Maybe I can figure out Crawford, but my body cannot go anymore. So I try it, but my body just not let me go.
I have a burning question for you that I think everyone wants to know. Is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? That's something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. And quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you? Or do you think it's better for him to just or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else, because my style is just, a bad matchup for him.
After a great performance, Terence Crawford is making it clear where he stands. Regarding Canelo Alvarez's abrupt demands for a rematch, he has been outspoken and straightforward, and he is not accepting any justifications at all. He has previously demonstrated that he had the mental toughness and blueprint necessary to not just outlast the Mexican superstar in a real dogfight, but to absolutely destroy him. This goes beyond simply protecting a heritage. The key is to demand respect. Crawford is also prepared to end the justifications for good.
Did you watch the Terence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight?
Yeah, I did.
Woo, talk about slick. Oh my goodness. Who's ever done that? Who's ever jumped up 2 weight classes like that? It's crazy.
Scary.
He's so clever, and it got to the point where he got so comfortable, he's like pit-patting him, and then
Under.
like, what?
Bop, bop, bop.
You're watching, like, this is amazing.
Like, that's history, obviously. You shouldn't be able to do that. You shouldn't be able to fight at that weight for the first time ever.
Against one of the greatest
greatest of all time, and do what you did. You're beyond an outlier. You're an anomaly.
Terence Crawford accomplished the unimaginable by going up several weight classes to face Saul Canelo Alvarez, who was obviously much bigger. Crawford gave a masterclass rather than fleeing or surviving. He used clever angles, razor-sharp counters, and defensive magic to stand directly in front of the Mexican superstar, leaving the super middleweight king clearly injured and furious. The most crucial aspect, though, was Canelo's prompt response. A beaten Canelo made no excuses during the news conference held after the fight. He acknowledged that he was unable to solve the puzzle, meekly accepted the loss, and even went on public to say that Crawford was far superior to Floyd Mayweather. It was an instance of unadulterated respect.
And lastly for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
After only a few months, that modest acceptance has entirely disappeared. Canelo finally spoke up about the defeat, and the story has changed so significantly that supporters are finding it difficult to take it seriously. The story then shifts to how his body inexplicably failed to react on fight night. Along with recently disclosed elbow problems that allegedly necessitated post-fight surgery and a sudden loss of mental focus, he is now claiming that severe leg cramps kept him from carrying out his game plan. When it comes to backpedaling, the combat sports community is infamously harsh, and social media has been merciless. Compared to these late in the day, boxing Twitter is already having a field day. The game makes reference to Deontay Wilder's notorious heavy costume excuse. Coming from a boxer who has always taken pride in not making excuses, the change is startling. When you consider Canelo's new, weird demands, the scenario becomes even more bizarre. He is stating unequivocally that Crawford owes him a rematch rather than only justifying the defeat. In a recent podcast, Canelo boldly asserted that they must run it back this September in order for Bud to receive full credit for the victory. However, this is the harsh truth about the commercial aspect of that conflict. The original contract contained no rematch clause at all. Crawford deliberately decided against adding a rematch provision or even a rehydration limit since he wanted Canelo to perform at his peak so his victory wouldn't have any asterisks. Now that Crawford will formally retire in December 2025, Canelo is frantically trying to find negotiable leverage that doesn't exist.
For. He was given a lot of credit. There's no rehydration clause, blah, blah. Oh my God, Bud's such a fighter. I'm up here making the argument, see, no excuses. He doesn't need a Mayweather rehydration clause. But really, why did he do all that? Because if you want the shot, you got to do it according to Canelo's terms.
Yes.
He still beat Canelo comprehensively and decisively. In the rematch, Crawford would be within his rights to say, okay, wait a minute. Now there's going to be a rehydration clause. Now there are going to be some things that favor me. And once that happens, it's just going to get worse for Canelo.
I wouldn't like that with Crawford's legacy. I don't think I know, but his character.
If you were Canelo, if you were Crawford, like, I understand what you mean. I already proved my point the first time. All right, you want the rematch? Okay, but now it's going to be on my conditions.
You maybe different money terms. Say you want parity and money, which obviously never has been with Canelo, stuff like that.
See, that's my thing. You begging for this fight, and you go on these shows where he's
I don't think he's begging for it either.
He's not begging.
You know what? Shady loves to say that. Oh, why did you get into it with fighters? You know why? Because I interact with the fighters. Let's get Canelo here, and then you say this to Canelo.
You think I'm going to get this thing? I don't care about that.
Listen.
Any retired fighter should be able to return to the ring with an incredible amount of money. But Terence Crawford is demonstrating that he is constructed completely differently. Rumors have been circulating behind the scenes that his great Turkey Alalshik offered a startling, claimed $100 million to entice Bud to come out of retirement for a rematch. For 99% of athletes worldwide, receiving a Saudi salary is a given. The entire business, however, was taken aback by Crawford's response. He made it quite evident that he could not be purchased by saying no strongly. He declared that adding another zero to his money account is not nearly as important as his values and integrity, demonstrating that he is one of the few celebrities who isn't solely motivated by money.
Don't got $100 million for me, don't even talk to me about it. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to hear. Basically, let me translate, because we know Crawford don't like to do too much trash talking. He likes to keep it clean. What Crawford is saying to Canelo, the price on your head for a rematch is $100 million because he already collected it last time. So is not going to go with the rematch. Talk is cheap. With Crawford being the A side, with Crawford getting the lion's share, with Crawford getting fair judges, mainly, Canelo is going to say, hell nah, to the no, to the no rematch. I'm telling you, he's going to start speaking English again. We haven't heard Canelo speak English for a minute now, I think. As soon as they show Canelo Alvarez the realistic terms on the contract for the rematch, he's gonna wake up to reality.
He will come to terms with the practical conditions of the rematch contract. Music. In the glitzy world of prize fighting, the true reason Crawford is turning down a huge sum is actually very sinister and hardly spoken. Bud stated that the real 36 minutes spent in the ring with Canelo aren't the issue when discussing the possible rematch. The physical devastation his body must withstand during a demanding, high-level training camp is the real horror. Pushing his physical limitations and breaking down his body for months on end in order to get ready for a huge opponent is a lasting burden on his health. Crawford is examining the larger picture, putting his family's pain-free existence and long-term health ahead of a short-term financial gain that would cause him to suffer from chronic injuries long after the applause has subsided.
Boxing is not all about knocking somebody out. Yes, that's part of it. That can happen, but boxing is a sport where you can outpoint somebody too. That's why they go to the scorecard.
I appreciate that take, bro. That's real educated, man, real thoughtful. But you ain't had a decision win in a long time, bro. You known for like being a great finisher. So I appreciate that. But that ain't how you moving though.
Right.
Please explain that to me. You just saying overall.
Yeah, overall.
You say, hey, I like to do this, but this is not for everybody.
It's definitely not, because it's a price to pay. It's definitely a price to pay when you fight those type of fights.
Yeah.
When everybody thinks nothing going on.
Yeah.
But all them punches add up.
Yeah, buddy.
All them punches add up.
He ain't got a bruise or nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't take no punishments. Like, bro, my head hurt.
Your head hurt.
I'm in this room right now trying to get right, and y'all chilling, partying downstairs.
Yeah, like all them punches add up. Punches in sparring add up. all them punches add up, and when one is good one day, and then it just all hit him out of the blue. He ain't even boxing no more. It just hit him, and then people be like, "Man, you all right, man? What's wrong with you?"
You never know when that's gonna happen.
You never know. It's gonna come.
Yeah.
But
Stay
you never
around
know.
long enough. Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, dang. You know what I mean? Is you all right? Yeah, I'm good. You might start slurring a little bit. You might start forgetting a lot of things. You might get a little dementia. You might keep repeating the same thing over and over, you know, and you don't even know it, you know? But that's from all that accumulation of punches to the brain.
But I know you probably have too, I done been in the presence of fighters, bro, where that stuff is happening, and I'm like, where they say something to you and they just told you 2-3 minutes earlier, you like, brother, you just said that.
Definitely.
That's scary to me.
Definitely.
That's scary to me.
I look at
Crawford has used the most effective PR tactic, weaponized silence, instead of getting sucked into a messy media conflict. Canelo airs out his list of complaints on podcast after podcast, but Crawford has decided not to listen to a word of it. His detractors are going crazy over this huge, deafening quiet because it gives them nothing to eat. What more can they say now? Crawford memorably asked the audience following his historic victory. That phrase has held up perfectly throughout time. Canelo is left shadowboxing his own fears, while Bud is effortlessly retaining the upper hand by refusing to fall for the bait and allowing his brilliant, unanimous decision victory to speak for itself.
I have a burning question for you that I think everyone wants to know. Is there going to be a Canelo rematch? Is there a rematch clause? That's something you're thinking about?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. And quite frankly, I don't think it is a rematch clause. And if it is, nothing has been said to me about fighting him again or anything.
Do you think Canelo would want to get back in the ring with you, or do you think it's better for him to just kind of, or more lucrative to go fight elsewhere for the rest of his career?
I think it would be better for him to fight somebody else, because my style is just, you know, a bad matchup for him. Now, financially wise, I would be like, yeah, he should fight me, but like on the outside looking in, knowing boxing, you can really get hurt. So I would just tell him, like, if you're gonna continue to fight, don't get in the ring with a guy like me.
Yeah, there's a popular adage in sports, kind of gets reused over again. It's kind of cliche, Father Time is undefeated. 38 years old, we see a lot of athletes now go into their late 30s and 40s and produce at a high level. How much longer do you want to do this?
I don't know.
No clue yet? Did beating Canelo make you think about those next steps in any way, or?
Before Canelo, I was thinking about a lot, you know, and I'm still thinking about a lot. I just haven't made my final decision. But once I make it, I'm going to make it, you know, and I'm going to make it here soon.
Crawford's refusal to return is entirely justified by the very real dread that is simmering beneath the surface of this drama among die-hard boxing fans. Fans are drawing attention to the risky underground politics of the sport on sites like Reddit. Canelo is currently launching his own promotional banner and is still widely considered the ultimate cash cow. Many people think that the boxing establishment would stop at nothing to make sure the Golden Goose receives his retribution if Crawford did consent to return. No matter how brilliantly Crawford does in a follow-up bout, fans are truly afraid that he could be the victim of a judge's scorecards were tampered with in order to preserve Canelo's marketability. Crawford has no justification for carelessly entering a possible trap.
I would love to see the rematch. I think in the rematch, if he comes back with the hunger that he needs, he could beat Crawford. Because Crawford, you know, is very talented, but I think Canelo could beat him. Canelo's strong, man. Canelo's strong. Canelo could take a good punch. So I think he could just go and don't respect his punch and throw punches even though you're gonna get hit. But don't give up. Keep going until you hit him. I think rematch with Canelo would be the best thing for him to do.
However, what if Terence Crawford decides to face Canelo again in 2026 after retiring? Without a doubt, this will be one of the biggest boxing bouts. However, the experts are raising the alarm, claiming that Canelo will suffer a catastrophe. Crawford dominated the rounds in the first boxing match, thus it wasn't a close battle. Wade Plemons summed up the rematch flawlessly, stating that Saul wouldn't fare well.
Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez are apparently in talks for a rematch in 2026, and my only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive payday, the first fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well for one Saul. Canelo Alvarez.
Wade got right to the point by pointing out that Canelo consistently makes the same error in fights, regardless of who he faces. He brought attention to Canelo's lack of mobility, flat feet, and low punch volume. These errors were noticeable in the first round with Crawford, and the boxing was capitalized on the Mexican's subpar performance on the night of the fight. Before Canelo signs a contract for the rematch, Wade thinks he has a lot of work to do in the boxing gym. Crawford, on the other hand, only needs to show up for the battle because he already knows how to defeat Canelo.
I don't know how this goes well for Canelo in a rematch. Honestly, you look at the first fight, and the things that plagued Canelo were essentially the things that plague him against most boxers. His flat feet, his lack of movement, his lack of volume. He couldn't get to Terence. He was overextending. He was getting caught with counter shots as he overextended. The big shown around, memed, and replayed moment of the fight is Canelo trying to throw a hook and a right hand, and Terence Crawford slipping on the outside and banging the left hand counter behind it. Canelo was beaten to the punch from distance. He was beaten in exchanges, and even in points in the fight, he was beaten inside by Terence Crawford. This was I wouldn't say dominant, but I would say more one-sided than I thought win for Terence Crawford, where he flat out outboxed Canelo, and he took Canelo's power. Like, there were times where Canelo landed the big right hand, and Terence Crawford took it. So what would be different if they fought again? The only different thing that potentially could happen would be in Canelo's hands. He would have to find ways to be different, and as much as I would love to believe that's possible, Canelo getting up there in age, I understand Terence Crawford is older, but Terence Crawford already fights at a way that's advantageous versus Canelo. He doesn't really have to change much. And he's fighting up a couple of weight classes from where he normally did, so he doesn't have to really worry about a weight cut either, and he's filled into that weight class because he looked just as big, if not bigger, that Canelo Alvarez did on fight night. So the question is,
Wade clarified that Canelo must give it his all in the ring if he wanted to defeat Bud Crawford. He cited one of Canelo's earlier battles, which also happens to be one of his best. Wade clarified that the Mexican superstar must make amends for all of his past fight-related errors and fight with all of his might in the rematch with Bud.
realistically think Canelo could and should and would do differently for this fight is he would have to fight Terence Crawford like he fought Sergey Kovalev at 175. That's genuinely what he would have to do. He'd have to be lighter on his feet, he'd have to throw more combinations, and he'd have to be quicker with his hands, as he was in that fight. And I'm not saying that he changes everything about himself. Canelo had success in moments with Bud Crawford, but that's what he would have to do, and some, right? He would have to be able to add layers to his game and not be so flat-footed. And if he's going to combination punch, he's got to do so in the fire with Terence Crawford, which going into the first fight, I didn't think Terence Crawford was going to have as much success with his combination punching because he'd have to be in front of the powerful hands of Canelo. But
Wade yet thinks Canelo has no chance of winning the fight against Crawford. Without hesitation, Wade declared that Terence Crawford would be the superior fighter in the ring when he shared his prediction for the rematch. He emphasized that Canelo should simply move on from the loss because Crawford's style isn't his.
Again, he was able to do so off the back foot and front because Canelo threw one at a time. He threw the jab or the right hand, or he threw the hook right hand. And again, Terence Crawford remained mostly southpaw, which does give Canelo problems because now he has to lead with his backhand versus punctuate with it. And his jab gets neutralized, and it's just a mess of a fight for Canelo. It really is. I don't hate that he wants to get that back. And the matchup itself is, again, one of the only ones that Canelo can still have. Make a shit ton of money and potentially not completely kill his...
Terence Crawford has finally pulled off the ideal checkmate. With his undeniable legacy intact, he rode off into the sunset after scaling the mountain, killing the monster, and securing his inherited wealth. He is a living example of how sometimes the best course of action is to just walk away and let your opponent deal with their own problems. Do you believe that Canelo's late excuses are a reflection of his own amazing legacy? Or do you think Crawford genuinely owes the boxing community one final, big rematch? Tell me in the comments below. That concludes the video for today. Please remember to hit the bell button, subscribe, and like if you liked it so you don't miss any of our next videos. Additionally, remember to leave a comment with your ideas. We'll see you in the future video, so stay tuned.